Hello and welcome to Research Methods for Economists. This is video 4. I am Balai, as you know before. Today we will see different issues under video 4. In previous we have discussed the different issues. So there is a source of research problem, as you know. To conduct our research, we have to have a source of the problem. Our source of the research problem, mostly in social science, revolves around 4 P's. That is people, problems, program, phenomena. Those are 4 P's that we are used as source of a research problem. The emphasis on the particular piece may vary from study to study, but generally in practice, most research studies are based upon at least a combination of 2P's. So we can combine 2P's. At least we can combine 2 people as problem or program and the phenomena or other else. You may select a group of individuals, a group or community as a people, either to examine the existence of certain issues or problems relating to their lives, to ascertain attitudes of the group of people toward an issue, that issue is a problem, to establish the existence of regularities, that is phenomena or events, or to evaluate the effectiveness of an intervention, such may be a program. Your focus may be the study of an issue, an association, or a phenomena pursue, for example, the relationship between unemployment and street crime, smoking and cancer, or fertility and mortality, which is done on the basis of information collected from individuals, from groups, communities, or organizations. We can collect such information from different sources. The attention is or emphasis in this study is on exploring, discovery, or establishing association or causations. Similarly, you can study different aspects of program, its effectiveness, its structure, the need for it, consumer satisfaction with it, and the like. In order to ascertain this, you collect information from people. The people provide you with the study population, whereas other 3P's furnish the subject areas. Your study population, individuals, groups, communities, is the people from whom the information is collected. Your subject area is a problem. The program about which the information is collected. Our subject all the time is a problem. If there is no problem, there is no research or no need to conduct research. First of all, we have to identify the problem. That is our subject areas. Closer look at any academic disciplines or occupations field will show that most research revolves around these 4P's. Every research study has 2 aspects. Those are the study population and the subject area or problem. According to the following table, aspects of the research problem. First of all, aspects of the study, about, study of, and like. When we see the first one, study population is people, study of individuals, and people we can study about individuals, maybe organizations, organization groups, communities. Those provide you with the required information, or you collect information from or about. The subject areas or the problem is, subject area or problem is a problem. Issues, institutions, associations, needs, populations, population, compositions, profile, it is under a problem. Subject area is a problem. If the subject area is about program, contents, structures, the outcomes are attributes, satisfactions, consumer, service provider, it is. If the subject area is event or phenomena, cause and effect relationship, the study of phenomena itself and like is considered. For all of this information that you need to collect, find answer to your research questions. Those are aspects of our research problem. You can study the problem, program, or phenomena in your academic field or from your professional perspective. For example, you can measure a welfare program, or you can look at problem from welfare, business, or healthy perspective. Similarly, you can gauge or measure consumers' opinion about any aspects of the program in the above fields. Examine your own academic discipline or professional fields in the context of 4Ps in order to identify anything that look interesting. Consider some of the aspects identified under study of in the above tables against problem, program, or phenomena for possible research topic. For example, as economics students, there are an enormous number of issues, situation or association within each subfields, and the level of economics that you could examine. In issues relating to unemployment, that means unemployment rates such as inflation or pollution, environmental pollution, effectiveness of the particular economic policies, customer satisfaction concerning a particular program can all provide you with a range of research problems. Then there is consideration in selecting a research problem. We have to consider different issues in collecting of or identifying of or selecting of a research problem. What they are. When selecting a research problem or topic, there are number of considerations to keep in mind. This helps to ensure that your study will be manageable. These considerations are: the first one to conduct a research is interests. If there is no interest, you cannot finish your research or you cannot conduct your research. First of all, you have to have interest. That is, choose a topic you are personally interested in. Otherwise, it is difficult for you to go with your research up to the end. The second, what you have to consider while selecting your problem is magnitude. Make sure the topic is the right size or not too broad or too narrow so it is manageable. If you do not consider magnitude, its size, if you cannot identify a right size of your research problem, it is difficult for you to finish and reach the goal. So that's you have to consider these issues while selecting a research problem. The other consideration that you have to take in account in selecting a research problem is measurement. This is the main one. Ensure that the main idea or variables in your study can be measured, or it should be observed, or it should be rated, or it should be counted. Otherwise, if you cannot measure that, it is not possible to conclude your research. For example, if you want to measure or want to study the student's stress, you have to have how to measure the stress. Otherwise, you cannot say at the end any conclusion about that student's uh, stress. For example, you may measure by asking question whether the student's stress is low or very high or in another ways. Otherwise, you cannot say this. It is difficult for you. The other consideration in selecting a research problem is level of expertise, your skill, whether you have skill over that areas or totally research areas or not. You have to identify it. Pick a topic that matches your knowledge and skill. Otherwise, if you can't select your topic based on your skill or your knowledge, it is difficult to you to conduct a research. That is why level of expertise should be taken into account while selecting a problem. The other is relevances. While selecting a research problem, you have to take into account the relevancy of that topic. Your topic should be important to your field or solve a real-world problem. Otherwise, if that is not relevant, at the end, there is no any value to conduct a research. Don't conduct a research for nothing, because you have to solve the problem. First of all, as we define a research is a finding of truth or solving of the problem, recommending of policyholders. So that's you have to consider relevancy of your topic. If it cannot solve the problem, no need to conduct a research, and why you spend your time for nothing. You have to solve the problem with research that may be an immediate problem or theoretical problem or practical problem. The problem should be solved with your research outputs. The other is availability of the data. Many researchers, especially graduate students or students that is going to be graduates, as requirements, you have to conduct a research. For that, you have to pick or you have to select a research problem that uh, you think is good for you to get statement of you get the data. If there is no data, for example, you have to identify whether a research topic that you select is available with the existing data. Otherwise, if data is confidential If that data is not found in any company or in the book, you cannot finish your research and you cannot be graduates. So make sure you can access enough data, books, documents, people, statistics, and so on. The final one is that you have to consider in selecting a research problem is ethical issues. The topic and the method should follow ethical standards. It should not harm participants, mislead others, or involve dishonest practice. Dishonest practice should not be involved in conducting of your research. So that's you have to consider those elements that we have mentioned above. Let us see those elements in detail. The first one is your interest or your motivation. Interest should be the most important consideration in selecting a research problem. If there is no interest, it is not possible for you to conduct research up to the end, because it needs high efforts. If there is no efforts, you cannot complete your research. So to make effort, you have to be motivated person about that topic, motivated researcher or motivated individual. A research endeavor is usually time consuming and involve hard work and a possibly unforeseen problem. If you select a topic which doesn't greatly interest you, it could become extremely difficult to sustain the required motivation, and hence its completion, as well as the amount of time taken could be affected. So the interest should be taken into account while selecting your problem. The problem you are interested in should be selected, otherwise it is difficult for you. Magnitudes. You should have a sufficient knowledge about the research process to be able to visualize the work involved in completing the proposed studies. First of all, you have to know a research methodology. You have to have sufficient knowledge about the research process, from where it starts and afterwards you have to go. You have to know these areas first of all, as you start from the introduction and also end with a reference. Narrow the topic down to something manageable, scientific, and clear. The magnitude should be manageable, not narrow or not wide. It should be manageable ways. Otherwise, it is difficult for you to complete your research up to the end. It is extremely important to select topics that you can manage within a time and the resource at your disposal. You have to have a budget for your research. We have discussed about this one in previous our videos, so you can refer from that videos how you can manage your research topic with your budget. Even if you are undertaking a descriptive study, you need to carefully consider its magnitude. The third one is measurement of concepts, or observe or count or rates. Your topic should be measured or should be counted, should be rated. Otherwise, you cannot say about that research outputs at the end if they are not, if you cannot measure that concepts. If you are using a concept in your study, make sure you are clear about its indicator and their measurement. For example, if you plan to measure the effectiveness of a healthy promotion program, you must be clear as to what determine effectiveness and how it will be measured. Otherwise, it is difficult for you as the end to conclude as well as to recommend for policies or for exactly specific problem. Don't use concepts in your research problem that you are not sure how to measure. So if you have no know-how about the measurement of that concept, please don't use to for your research. You have to know the area first and how it is going to be measured. Otherwise, don't choose such problem or such concept in your research. This doesn't mean you cannot develop measurement procedure as a study progress. This is not that one. While most of the developmental works will be done during your study, it is imperative that you are reasonably clear about the measurement of this concept at this stage. The fourth one is a level of expertise that you have to consider while selecting of your research. Make sure that you have an adequate levels of expertise for task you are proposing. If you are not expert over the areas, or if you have no knowledge, or if you have no skill about the area, don't choose such topic. For example, don't choose a research title that needs software to test your data, such as EViews or Python or SPSS or Stata and other software too. Please don't choose such area if you are not experts around that areas. Allow for the fact that you will learn during a study and may receive help from your research supervisor. And the other bit, remember, you need to do most of the work yourself. As far as my understanding is concerned, as far as my level of expertise is concerned, and based on my experience, 90% work is from a researcher. Supervisor cannot guarantee for you on your title. So please believe yourself first. Don't believe other person. Whether you have supervisor or whether you have a teacher, whether you have a friend, don't believe them. They are simply supporting you in some areas. The main one is you. Around 90 or 95% of the work is for you. So consider the level of experts. The other one is a relevancy. Your title should be relevant. Otherwise, don't choose or don't select that topic. Select a topic that is of relevance to you as professional. Ensure that your study adds to the existing body of knowledge, bridges current gaps, or useful in policy formulation. If that is not relevant, please don't select that title. This will help you to sustain interest in the study. If that is very relevant, you can continue to finish your research. Otherwise, if that is not relevant, don't choose totally. The other is availability of data. As we said, while conducting your research problem, you have to consider also whether you can get a data for that research topic or not. If you think and if you get the data, you can select. If the data is not available, if you not think that the data of that topic is not available, don't choose. That is the solution. If your topic demands a collection of information from secondary sources, office records, client records, census or other already published report. It is before finalizing your topic, make sure that these data are available and in the format you want. Otherwise, don't choose. Because if there is no data, there is no analysis. If there is no analysis, there is no research. If there is no research, no need to select the topic, and also no need to spend your time. The data is the main one. The final one is about ethical issues. Another important consideration in formulating a research problem is the ethical issue involved. In the course of conducting a research study, the study population may be adversely affected by some of the questions, directly and indirectly. Deprived of an interventions expected to share sensitive and private information. How ethical issue can affect the study population and how ethical problem can overcome should be thoroughly examined at the problem formulation stage. Otherwise, it is difficult. With this, I come to the end. I thank you very much for your attention and also for your comments. If you liked my work, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and the comments. If you need my email, you can get balayele@yo.com. So, thank you very much, and also thank you in advance. You can share and subscribe my YouTube. If you have a comment indication, you have to ask me or you have to write under the comments. Thank you.